Welcome back. Now, Sabrina, if you can enlighten us just a little bit more, what does this
bean to bar?
Bean to bar
Yep.
business? How does it work, and how is it? How does the farmers benefit, and both farmers and consumers benefit from this kind of process?
Sure. So maybe I'll start telling a little bit more about how it's typically done. So what usually happens is farmers sell their cocoa beans to traders and middlemen,
Right.
who sell it to big grinders.
Right.
So big companies like Cargill,
So
ADM.
there's already two.
That's already two people.
Two people get
Exactly.
in between distribution line there. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then the cocoa beans get converted to cocoa butter, cocoa powder, which gets sold to confectionery companies. So that would be all the chocolate manufacturers that you see on your supermarket shelf. They make it into the final product, and then they sell it to consumers. So bean to bar means that we integrate all of that. So we buy directly from the farmers themselves, and we do the entire production process from the bean till the final product that consumers buy. And how that's better for the farmers is, firstly, we're able to set a better price for them. Because we integrate the entire value chain, so that's only us who need to make some money between the farmer and the consumer.
Right.
We can afford to pay the farmers a lot more.
Right.
For the consumers, we can also provide a high quality product because we know exactly where the beans are coming from. And nowadays people are really concerned with traceability. They want to know that their food has been grown responsibly. And we can provide that assurance for them. So we know exactly who the farmers are, how the product is being grown, and that the best quality beans, only the best quality beans are being put into the product that we sell.
You know the story of the chocolate that you can tell the consumers.
Exactly. Yeah.
The exact line. And how is the farmers in Lampung have been taking this so far?
Very receptive. I think they're very excited by the prospect of having, an assured market, which is something that they've never had before. So usually one of the big challenges farmers face is always price volatility. So sometimes, when the price of a particular commodity is high, all the farmers would go out and plant that particular crop. And when it comes to harvest season, because so many farmers planted that particular crop, the prices fall, and sometimes they don't make enough money to even cover their production costs. But for us, what our promise to the farmers is that this is the set price that we give you based on certain quality parameters that we set. So they have that assurance that 6 months, 12 months down the road, or whenever they harvest, they will be given that particular price for the hard work that they put in.
It's a guarantee.
It is a guarantee.
Now, knowing that this is really, they're benefiting so much from this bean to bar process, and are you also involved in helping them to sustain their own business so that they know that this, like you mentioned earlier on the sidelines, you were discussing that they're very short. Cited in terms of what are the future possibilities for them? Are you involved in helping them to teach them or cultivate whatever the word that you use to make sure that they sustain this business?
Definitely. So financial literacy, I think, is a very important component of what we do. Our target is to increase farmer income by 3 to 4-fold within a time period of about 4 years or so, and that's a dramatic increase for a lot of farmers. So,
but you're already doing that with the kind of price that you're paying them. Compared to other traders?
Yes. So the income improvement comes from two sides.
Right.
One is that the yield improvement side of things. So we teach them how to plant their crops better. So they're producing more cocoa in the same amount of land. And the other side is that we're paying more for the best quality beans, so they get an increased income from that as well. So yes, they're already increasing their income, but it'll come to full filtration in about 3 to 4 years. So it's important to us as well that when we come back, they don't have 5 motorcycles in front of their house and the kids are still not properly educated. So helping them think about the long-term sustainability of how to really empower themselves is important for us, and that's something that we're looking into.
Now, what's the magnitude, what's the size of your production in Lampung? The farmers that you're involved with, the vast the hectares of cocoa farm that you're working with?
So currently we've trained and empowered 60 farmers, and then we're going to complete training for another 200 farmers by the end of this year. Each farmer owns about 1 to 2 hectares.
And how much is 1 to 2 hectares produce every time they harvest?
Currently, so the baseline when they start, it's about half a ton per hectare. And then through the training program that we provide them, our target is to increase that to 2 tons per hectare, so 4 times.
So what other trainings are you giving them aside from seedings, planting, and producing, basically just producing better beans?
A big problem that farmers are facing is with diseases and pests. So this is something quite new. So it has happened in the last 5-10 years or so that pests have become a bigger issue. So even farmers who have planted cocoa for 20 years, all of a sudden they don't know how to deal with all the emergence of all these new pests. So pest management is one thing that we teach them. That involves, using natural pest management systems, like, for example, cultivating black ants, which is a predator to one of the bugs that attack cocoa pods. Another one is also sanitizing the farm, so making sure that mold doesn't grow, because if it's too humid, that will cause things like black pot rot and various other diseases as well. And apart from pest management, we also teach them how to do fermentation.
Okay.
That's quite a critical component, actually, because about 95% of cocoa beans in Indonesia today is still not fermented.
95%.
About 95%.
What does the process for fermentation means for the cocoa bean for the cocoa beans?
So after you harvest it, when it's still still has its pulp around it, you put it into wooden boxes for a period of about 6 days. During this period of 6 days, you turn and you mix the cocoa beans twice, and that's the fermentation process. And that's really critical, actually, if you want to produce high quality chocolate, because without the fermentation, what they call the aroma precursors can't develop. So when you roast the beans, you don't really have that really nice, fragrant, characteristic smell that comes with chocolate.
That chocolatey aroma.
Exactly.
We'll talk more about chocolate when we come back.